Not gonna lie, bro. I thought Absolute Batman had it tough, and let's not get it twisted, he does. But Absolute Superman's life is so buns. Like, at least Batman has a family to go home to every night, some friends to hang out with, and a smoking hot girlfriend he can crack any day of the week. Absolute Superman, deadass, has nothing. He does nothing and can do nothing. I said Absolute Batman should hang up the cowl, but Absolute Superman needs to hang up the cape. 13 volumes in, and I have yet to see anything super about this man. I have never seen such a strong person feel so powerless. That's how the Absolute Universe is moving. Recently, I bought 2 volumes of Absolute Superman and Wonder Woman, and when I saw the cover, I thought Supes was about to go crazy. And to be honest, he has all the tools. He's got most of regular Superman's powers, but to top that all off, he has this dope ass cape that can protect and heal him, and on top of that, he has his own super suit integrated with an AI which helps him out during battles. But as it goes in the Absolute Universe, nothing is ever that simple. Absolute Superman's story starts off 9 million light years from Earth on the planet Krypton, a vast planet with over 1 million people. The residents here live and die by their class system. You're required to wear your class symbol at all times. At the top, you got the Science League, the big dogs, rocking the Shell logo variant. And at the bottom, you got the filthy Labor Guild. Crazy how they turned the Superman symbol into a sign of poverty. Superman, or as he was known on Krypton, Kal-El, was a part of the Labor Guild. His father worked in the Kryptonian mines, while his mom did odd jobs among other things at home. And the crazy thing is, it's not like Soup's parents were some idiots either. His mom, Lara, was a genius, destined for great things. But after she wrote an essay calling out Krypton's lack of funding for interstellar exploration, she was labeled as unruly and forbidden from ever getting into the Science League. I was like, damn, that is crazy. She didn't deserve all that. But then I found out she wrote this when she was 9. Getting called out by a 9-year-old and getting pressed over that is crazy, bro. I rock with her though. Peep how she's aura farming in the rain. Sukuna would be proud. On the other hand, his father, Jor-El, was set to graduate from the Science Academy. But during his graduation speech, he called out what he saw as environmental recklessness, and they weren't rocking with that. Bro got laughed out of his own graduation and kicked out of the league. Can't say shit in Krypton. The thing is though, both ended up being right. Lara was correct to say that the lack of interstellar travel was concerning, which will come into play in a bit, and Jor-El was right about the environment, because Krypton was dying, rotting, because all the pillaging and destroying the Science League was doing to its natural resources. Now, unlike his parents, our boy Cal isn't really into all this. He does care about his planet and his family, but getting into the Science League or becoming a big shot isn't really his priority. He's content with where he is and would rather play with his dog Crypto than study. Real as hell. School was always a challenge for him. His grades weren't that good, and unlike his parents, he wasn't a good speaker. Yo, Blondie, I'm watching your stream, bruh. Why you trying not to laugh, bro? That's disrespectful as shit. Yo, this girl hitting the same thing too, bro. Oh, nah. But that's not to say that Cal wasn't smart. He was. Even though his parents never told him, he was able to figure out that Krypton was dying all on his own. He even went out of his way to write an entire article about it, but it was to no avail. The Science League deleted it. Even Jor-El couldn't talk to the clerics about what was to come. They threw him in the Slammer, so with no other option, it was up to Mama Supes to get the job done. He's so fine, bruh. Jor-El a better man than me, because if I was in this universe as Absolute Noah, there would have been at least 5 more cows running around the place. Absolute Noah would be crazy, bro, trust. Joker and Bane would have nothing on me. She really pulled up in her own suit, blasted the door open, then freed her man. What a goat. And Cal was getting busy too. Took a login code, then headed into the central law offices. Something is off though. All the high-ranking officials should be here, but there isn't anyone at all. The thing is, the high ranks of Krypton already knew that the planet was about to die, so they created their own ships in secret to leave this planet and let everyone else perish. Insane work, because if they all worked together, they'd be able to escape just fine. But in the end, not a single one of their ships managed to take off from the cities, but our gang was able to make their escape. For the first time in a while, Cal felt hope. Hell, bro even started moving like never before. Had his arm around the girl over here. He was getting that game on. I was proud of him. Unfortunately though, Darkseid must have felt a disturbance in the forest. Nigga saw that smile and immediately used his admin commands to wipe it off his face. Ain't no way this conveniently placed kryptonite bullet domed their ship like that. Luckily, everyone had spacesuits installed inside their bodies, so they should be good, right? Wrong. Darkseid starts admin abusing again and makes sure nobody besides Cal survived. Bro watched his planet, his family, and even his dog get burned to bits right before his very eyes. And the worst part about it is bro had to live with the fact that everything that he once knew is now good and gone forever, all alone. He was in that space pod for 18 straight months, living off that public school food. Imagine all that time by himself. Only thing he has is his AI robot soul, and it's not like that's a real human connection until finally, 9 million light years later, he crashes and burns onto Earth, right into a farm in Smallville, Kansas, owned by the Kents. Shout out to Martha, she made sure to take care of him. In a way, they ended up saving each other. The Kents saved Cal from his loneliness, and he saved them from losing their farm. They were living a nice life until Lazarus Corp came in and ruined it, and once again, he was forced to run. Lazarus Corp are the main villains of this story, well, one of them. And while they definitely terrorize the regular civilians, they're basically cannon fodder for Superman. At least they should be. You'll see what I mean in a little bit. For 5 years, he stayed hidden, hiding in the shadows, helping out people throughout different work camps and defending them from Lazarus Corp, coming and going as he pleased. But one day in Brazil, Superman finally snapped. You see, Cal was in a diamond mine, helping workers out, but he ended up overworking himself and got his location leaked. But this time, he was done. Bros had enough of hiding. He popped out, ate all the bullets, then started putting belt to ass. And on top of that, he kept all the workers safe. We also meet absolute Lois Lane. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. God bless short-haired women. With the pixie cut too, Darkseid just can't miss with these designs, bruh. I'm gonna have to make a tier list on all the absolute baddies one of these days, bro. Cause he's on fire. Now, you're probably watching this and thinking, wow, absolute Superman is strong as hell. There's no way he could possibly lose. But you'd be wrong. You see, one of absolute Superman's biggest problems is his ability not to crash out. He'll take beatdowns just to spare his opponent because he doesn't want to hurt anyone. He doesn't want to kill. And the funny thing about this is the fact that both of his friends and enemies want him to crash. They want to see what he can do. Much of this is due to his upbringing, as his parents told him to cherish life and the world itself. So it kind of goes against his ideals, which is good. But unfortunately, he's going up against quite possibly the most sadistic and ruthless villain in the absolute universe so far, Brainiac. Now, we saw him in absolute evil watching that meeting with Joker. And just from that scene alone, you can tell what type of madman he is. Like willingly letting yourself be seen by the devil himself? The balls on this man are crazy. This version of Brainiac spent not 10, not 20, not 50, not even 100, but 136 years shoveling other versions of himself into an incinerator. Mind you, he's the 419,732nd version of himself. And on day 2800, he was shoveling number 8 million, meaning that he's indirectly killed himself hundreds of millions of times. Someone in the comments can do the math. Then after almost 50,000 days, he found out that he was the only Brainiac left and made himself the ruler. And this guy is a psycho. His idea of fun is catching Omegas, which is the resistance group against Lazarus Corp, and literally shrinking their skin, disintegrating their muscles, and making them throw up their own bones. Then he caught this unlucky soul and turned him into a test subject. Dude has no regard for human life. It doesn't even matter if you're working for him. It doesn't even matter if you are him. He's like that one Big Brother is watching meme to the max. He controls all the data, all the different sources of media. Dude has entire mini ecosystems that he tyrannically rules over. Bro could honestly take over the world himself, but he's busy working for Ross. Really makes me wonder if he's really like that. Ra's al Ghul really lacks that oomph for me, I can't even lie. Like sure he can throw hands and throw babies off balconies, but like, I don't really care. He doesn't have that same sauce that Brainiac and Bane have. He doesn't have that depth, and it doesn't really help that we don't see him until like 6 issues in. I mean, we've seen like bits and pieces of the Joker, but we already fear him. He has that sauce. What other nigga is making grown men get vasectomies over his presence? That's what he lacks. Anyways, back to Superman. Like I said, this dude is a pacifist in a world where peace isn't an option. Dude will beat the brakes off of someone in 4 seconds, then feel bad about it straight after. Dude even let himself get shot by a kryptonite bullet just to avoid getting someone killed. But that was not the move. They really had to jump him to beat him. And the crazy thing is, bro shouldn't be losing like this. He could have wiped the floor with all of them in like 10 seconds, but he's out here moving like this. A no-kill rule only works when you do it right. Batman is a prime example. He will mutilate you limb from limb, but at the end of the day, you're still alive. Superman does a bad job with this, so he ends up getting cut. He's like the opposite of Batman. Batman has the will to destroy, but lacks the power to make it happen. Or like more so, he had to make his own power. He had to get his own power to make it happen. While Superman has all the power in the world, but doesn't have the will to destroy. I know Batman is gonna be pissed when he meets this dude for the first time. I can already tell. Makes me so glad that Diana will be there because I know that shit talking is gonna go crazy. And yo, what they did to this man was beyond crazy. Brainiac had bro strapped to a chair and locked into an Itachi Uchiha level genjutsu. Had bro murdering his own people in his head for 570 times straight. Dude was in there for 2 weeks straight killing niggas in his own head, and he still wouldn't bend the knee and break. His mental strength is insane. He was even subconsciously changing the Brainiacs around him. Think about it, this dude's will is so strong that he was able to change Brainiac's own versions of himself. Imagine what he could do if he was actually speaking. But thanks to Lois Lane and their dad, along with this dude named Jimmy, they were able to escape the facility. I will say, issue 12 was one of my favorites so far in this run, because it shows that even after all he went through, Superman is still willing to stick to his ideals. Shout out to Soul as well, the only version of ChatGPT that I'm rocking with for real. Without him, Supes would have been done. Anyway, as of right now, Superman is currently in Kansas, getting ready to fight Ra's al Ghul. Honestly, I feel the story is alright, but damn, this is 12 issues long, we're 13 now, and it feels like we're just getting started. Ra's al Ghul is supposed to be the main villain, but he feels less scary than Brainiac. Jimmy saying that Joker made him get a vasectomy had more aura than most of his screen time, I ain't gonna lie. I do rock with Absolute Superman though. I like his backstory, and I know his development is gonna go crazy. Mind you, this kid is 18 years old, he's my age. Bro's lived most of his teenage years on the run and resisting the crash out. I can't even blame him for how he acts. I just feel that compared to some of these other runs, it's one of the slower ones. Ironically though, it's not as slow as Flash. Only thing that has me reading that right now is the beautiful Dr. Eleanor Thawne. Anyway, I'll probably come back and peep this whenever their fight is over, just to see what happens. But for now, it's probably number 4 for me in the Absolute series.